I'm working with a 3-inch cookie. I traced out the cookie and I drew out the face, and I used that as my template to transfer the eyes onto the cookie. For the video, I drew them out in black marker. Normally I wouldn't use such a dark color. Now I've got flood consistency white royal icing, and I'm painting it on with a paintbrush. A fairly wide paintbrush, and it doesn't have to look pretty. You go outside the lines and cover the black. You'll still be able to see the black outline, and just keep painting evenly, and that's going to create the white of the eye. Once you're done doing that, you can just let them dry. It doesn't take a long time since it's such a thin layer of icing. Moving on to the next step, you're going to need some piping consistency black icing, and following the black outline that was in marker, we're going to outline in icing. I'm going to do 2 different ways for the eyes just to compare and see which one looks best. Here we go. From the outside here, I'm going to pipe the eyes. I'm using a 1.5 tip. It might seem a little bit fat, but you'll see once we move on to the next step that half of that black line will be hidden by the face color icing. And that's why I like this technique. It makes a softer looking eye instead of these big fat black outlines that we often see, just because we don't have a choice. The icing has to be a certain width for it to come out of the piping tip. So this cookie, we're doing a black outline all the way around the eye. And for the next one, I'm going to do a black outline only on the top, the corner of the eye and the top of the eye. And then I'm going to be taking after skin color and outlining the bottom of the eye. And we're going to see the different look that this gives. So much of the face expression is determined by the eyes, whether the face looks happy or mad. I think my cookie was a little bit on the small side, but that was the cutter that I just grabbed quickly. I would probably make them a little bit larger next time, just to scale the width of that outline of the eye, the eyeliner. If I was making a male face, I would probably outline the eyes in skin color and not in the black black outline. Makes it look a little bit girly. So there they are. Now if you look on the outside of the face, I've outlined the edge of the face and the edge of the hair with the skin color icing, and I outlined the bottom of that eye. And now I'm going to flood the whole face with the copper, the skin color. Again, I'm using thickish icing. That's my preference. It heals, and I can control the flow. I don't want it to fall into the eyes or fall off the cookie. And so again, you have to figure out the consistency that works for you so that you can execute your project. I realize that it's probably quicker to use a runnier icing, but I've had too many issues or whatever. The icing just has a mind of its own when it's runny. And so as you see here, as I'm piping along the eye, all of a sudden that black outline is made more narrow and less apparent, and it looks more realistic. And then you're getting that depth. The eye is a little bit more in than the face. So just with your toothpick, make sure that it's on the edge of the face. So once you've got the icing on, just set them aside to dry. There you go. You can see the width of the eyeliner. You see how much nicer it looks? Now I'm going to do the one with the skin color at the bottom of the eye and see how that one will look. Sorry for the shadow there. Have to have my light, I guess, next time on the side. Still on my video learning curve. If you're beginning decorating cookies, really stick with the thicker icing just because you're better to guide it, push it to where you want it to go than try to get it to stop going where you don't want it to go. The runny icing, just gravity is the one that controls it. You have nothing to say, and you're going to be stuck wiping it off the inside of the eye, and it's just going to be a mess. We often, look at they show cookies and stuff that the icing is too thick and it doesn't heal well. It remains kind of gloppy, but I've seen some cookies where the icing is actually too runny, and that's not nice either. I should actually do a demonstration to see a finished cookie when the icing was too runny, and it loses all its fluff. It just kind of becomes a flat layer on the surface of the cookie. It's really not nice either. So you see here the comparison of that complete eye all around and the one that just has over the top. You'll see when the cookie's done, the one with the eyeliner all around looks a little bit more severe than the one with just at the bottom. So here I filled in the hair with some gold icing, yellow for a blonde. And now I'm doing the mouth. So 2 dots, I'm using the skin color, the same skin color, 2 dots, and then a big dot to make the mouth, the same as I did in my spa cookie. And then with the toothpick, I'm pulling the corners of the mouth to create that kind of puckered look, the girly pucker. You can pigment your icing pink. I opted here to do it skin color, and I'm going to be painting the lips with luster dust. So I'm pulling on the side, the mouth, and here I'm not pulling on both sides. I'm just going to pull on that one side, and it gives the impression the face is slightly turned. See the depth in the eyes? The face is coming along. So these have dried overnight. They're good and dry. And you see there's some bleeding in the outline of the eyes. That's not the royal icing. That's actually the marker that bled. See here the depth I'm trying to show you. The lips. So normally I wouldn't have outlined the eyes in black. I would just use yellow, just something to be able to see it myself. But I wanted you guys to be able to see it. Oh, here's the eyes now. I'm just using teal and making a bead of icing, a dot of icing, centering it in my eye and squeezing to the appropriate size. And immediately while it's wet, I'm coming in with some black icing, and I'm going to do the center of the eye. I insert my tip in the icing. I don't pipe from the top. I put it right in. You have to wipe in between eyes, but it just blends better and it doesn't create that little peak. And now the last step to the eye, I'm coming in with white icing, and I'm doing that little reflection, the shine in the eye. This step makes the eye, now the reflection of my light is in there, but it just makes such a difference with regards to the finished product, that little white dot. And so here I'm going to finish off these two again with the teal I think you could do 2 or 3 at a time, but you really don't want your icing to crust before you get the next color. It all has to blend together, the eyes. You can't have a mark for it to look like a real eyeball. You can do any color, green eyes, blue eyes. Coming in with the black. They blend very well together. This whole project is done with the same consistency icing. And there's that little touch of white, the light in the eyes. The realism is there. Instead of just, those eyes that you see on Easter bunnies. Kind of look, you know, they're nice, but they are missing that little detail. So there they are. I really like the one without the black underneath it. Her face just looks so much softer and nicer. These two on the right look mad. So I'm going to let these dry. So while I was working on this project, I got an idea of a fun project or party kind of activity. If you have the cookies ready and dry, you could have like at your spa party or whatever for older girls, put their makeup on. And so with some luster dust and markers and such, the girls could have a few different faces, brunettes, green eyes, whatever, and do their makeup. You could order a few colors. There's my red edible marker and some teal luster dust for her eyeshadow. And I have some flat watermelon for her blush. And I think the girls at a party would have a good time doing this. They could have a good laugh. And so on the right, I use luster dust, but here, just like if it was for kids, I would use a marker. My daughter, who's 10, really likes to use markers to decorate the cookies. She feels she has more control and she's happier with her final finished product. I'll often decorate cookies in white for her and she'll color on them. So there, it's easy to follow the lip line. And with the marker, you just color it in. A little blush. I think the girls would have a good laugh doing this. I had fun doing it. I don't usually wear makeup myself. And personally, if I was having a party for my daughter, I wouldn't really want them to be putting makeup on each other. So this is a fun way to have like a makeup party without them putting makeup on each other. And here's the teal eyeshadow. So the cookie really wasn't that complicated. And it's the girls get to have all the fun after. Wipe off the excess there. Last touch, she needs some eyelashes. So with my marker, a few little eyelashes. And a little mole. Doesn't she look ravishing? The other one looks really mad, but I like that one. I think I might do this for my daughter's next party. She'd like that. And you see the depth in the eyes there? Here's the finished cookies. I hope you liked it.